Do you believe in the impossible? For what I'm about to show you is a collision of miracles, indiscernible in their complexity. For in a moment, I, Colion The Incredible, will lay out a sequence of cards so impossible, they may never be duplicated. Now remember, do not try to recreate this at home, for you will surely perish before you succeed. Ace of diamonds. 4 spades. 6 of hearts. 5 clubs. 9 spades. 4 of diamonds. Jack of clubs. 4 of hearts. And finally, King of clubs. Ladies and gentlemen, the odds of me laying these 52 cards in the order that I've laid them is precisely... This was not supposed to happen, and yet it did. Adios, immortal men. I'm off to know the unknowable, to battle the invincible, and to shoot as many of these awesome guns as I possibly can while wearing this stupid cape. There are 318.9 million American citizens. The odds of you and me needing a gun to protect our lives is not that much better than Colion The Incredible putting these cards back in the exact order. However, the odds of one person needing a gun to protect their life with is 100%. How can anyone tell somebody they shouldn't have a firearm in their 100% moment? What kind of special arrogance do you have to think that you have a right to tell somebody that they don't have a right to do something? Because you feel safe, because you don't like guns. Just because you think something is unlikely to happen to you doesn't mean it's unlikely to happen to someone else. And just because something is considered unlikely to happen doesn't mean it's impossible. Some people like to be prepared for the unlikely but possible. Other people like to cross their fingers and play the statistics. As American citizens, we have the right to do both. But what we don't have the right to do is to limit someone's ability to be prepared for something we don't believe will happen until it does. I'm gonna ask you this question. If there's a big red button here in the middle of the table, and you could push that button, make all the guns disappear, would you push it?
Yes.
Why?
The only people I will arm is our military.
If that's the case, then if 2 dudes show up at your mother's door, she shouldn't fight to protect her life.
She should.
But you want to limit what she can use to defend herself.
Yeah, weaponry. That's right.
Okay, so if there were a knife in the house, would you have a problem with her using a knife?
Not at all.
So what's in between a knife and a gun? Grandmothers, great-grandparents,
right.
People who live by themselves and are incapable physically of defending themselves. What do we do about them? I mean, should we not allow them to have guns?
That will never happen to me. Guess who else has spoken those words? The guy who got mugged on the way home from the bar. The girl who was brutally raped by her friend's older brother. The single mother who came home to find 6 robbers and a .40 pointed at her face. Because that will never happen to you until it does.
So you've never dealt with anything while being here for the last 2 years? You never had any incidents that were kind of like, kind of close calls or anything?
Not to where I would need a gun. I've had to kick a few people out before, but I don't let it get to that point.
And let's say they take it up a notch. At that point, would you have wanted a pistol?
Then if I did have a gun, we're gun battling, I'm not doing that.
Would you rather them only have the gun?
We're not about to have gunplay in here. It's not about to happen.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm picturing a Western movie. You know, no.
Okay, so how would you stop that from happening, though? Above and beyond you telling them to leave and them not listening to you?
How would I stop them? Well, we do have our panic button, so that'll be pushed.
That gives you about, what, 5 minutes before they get here? If 5 guys kicked in the door to my house, would it not make sense to grab a rifle to deal with multiple people?
Are you living in the wire? I've been to your house. Okay. No one's coming into your high-rise.
And again, that's the kind of myopic mindset that we keep dealing with when people look at the gun situation and say, you know what? I live in a great area, it's safe, no one's ever gonna come hurt me. But how many people actually live like that? How many people live in places where the area is stricken with crime, poverty? So what you're telling me is we need to restrict their ability to use the most effective form to protect themselves, because to you it seems silly because you live in downtown Dallas in a high-rise. At a certain point, you may have to deal with the criminal even though you don't want to.
Yeah, and at that time, I look at it like, that's God's time. That's just the game.
And that's fine. And you're willing to do that. You know but my whole thing is,
I also believe that if I have a gun, I'm not like, you know what, let me just shoot this guy. I'm not James Bond.
But see, that's because,
I'm not technically trained.
I may understand that you're willing to put your life in kind of like happy land where if it happens, it happens. However, there are some people that believe that I want to take responsibility of my own safety. You understand, you only get one life. You get one. That's it. So that one moment that you have to protect your life, that's the only moment you have. That 1% applies to your life. But that 1% happens way more often to different people. Somebody's 1%.
Right. And that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm being a little bit Pollyanna about this, but I really focus way more on the 99% of my life that...
and I absolutely do too. But then I also concern myself with the 1% because the 1% consequence is way more detrimental. Death is death. It's 100%.
So you're saying I'm crazy not to own a gun?
Oh no, by all means. You're more than welcome to not be concerned with the 1%. It's the same reason why some people are like, I smoke because I want to smoke. Fine, by all means, smoke. But for somebody who's like, you know what? I don't like those odds. I'd rather not smoke. They have every right to do that. The same way with a gun.
One of the first times where I was using my CHL was when we were pouring the foundation. During that time, construction was bustling. Everything was booming. To get concrete trucks to your job site in a timely manner, and the only ones that were really available to me at the time were cash only. I mean, I had 10 trucks out there. Each one of those trucks is $1,000. That's $10,000 I had in my pocket. Just me. So knowing that I had that potential safety greatly improved my comfort level being out here. It's a different world we live in, and I pray every day, but that's not going to stop a bullet from harming you or someone mugging you, stabbing you. You just got to be conscious of your environment and stay vigilant.
One of the reasons why I haven't really felt the need for me personally to have one, it's maybe because I live somewhere that generally isn't very violent in the sense of like civil war or like things are on the edge of chaos.
Yeah.
But when I think about my ancestry, you know, having come from Syria and the situations that they're dealing with right now, I'm a very, very strong opinion of them owning guns and having guns.
Yeah.
And because, you know, that's a situation where they need it. And the problem is that when governments fall apart, generally the people with the guns and the weapons are the ones that take over. Yep. And then it becomes a dictatorship. So having guns for individuals is very critical.
A lot of these people's arguments too will be like, well, you're preparing for something that's almost never really gonna happen. It's those one-offs. And I have to implore people to understand, even if it is true, the consequences are irreversible. So if something happens because this doesn't happen in this neighborhood or this can't happen here, when it does happen, like when you're in a movie theater watching Batman, or when you're in elementary school teaching kindergarten kids, or when you're in church praying, when it does happen, then what?
The real world isn't all rainbows, puppies, and lollipops. It's a place filled with anger, evil, and hate. It's a place where bad things happen to good people. One of those people could be your best friend. It could be your son. It could be your grandmother. It could be you.
So now, would you still push that button?
Now I'm a little hesitant to push the button, being that the scenarios that you placed the...
And those aren't hypotheticals.
Right.
It's easy to get lost in our own worlds. I'll admit the likelihood of me needing to defend myself with a gun are relatively low. However, that 1% is 100% of everything. And so at that moment, I just want to have something. I'm not saying it's going to guarantee you. It's not. I could still die. I could still die and have 8 guns on me.
All right.
I just want a fighting chance. That's all. It's easy to develop a false sense of security when everything around you keeps telling you that you're safe. Little pixelated white men tell you it's safe to cross the street. Men in uniforms with guns tell you pushing 3 numbers in your phone will make them appear. And gates that only open when magical cards are waved in front of them tell you that they keep the criminals out. Personally, I live in one of these safe microcosms, and I do so without shame. However, I can't deny that the illusion of safety has tainted my perspective a bit. Especially when you never lock your balcony door, because who's gonna climb up to the 20th floor? Then you find yourself staring at a guy on your balcony on a Tuesday afternoon. In the last season of Noir, I half-heartedly mocked LaSorte's very tactically minded approach to firearms. I unconsciously became too cool for school and kind of snickered at the thought of donning a plate carrier and training for scenarios that were not likely to happen, but still very possible. I used to think, what could possibly happen that I would need a plate carrier? I lived downtown, and World War Z was just a movie. However, I quickly realized Streets of New Orleans after Katrina wasn't a movie. The LA riots wasn't just a movie. The 1977 New York blackout wasn't just a movie. So here I am a year later, and a little wiser, playing tactical dress-up with my good buddy LaSorte. So here I am, dressed like a tactical Power Ranger with my good friend LaSorte. Dude, why do you have me outside in 108-degree weather with a plate carrier?
I can't tell you how happy I am to see you dressed up like this. I've been working for this moment for so long. Finally, I feel successful. And we're gonna do some stuff.
Yeah.
As you can see from this laying on the ground, we've got a little course of fire for you.
Okay.
We're gonna shoot from cover from multiple positions. The idea is to make sure that while you're shooting from all those positions, you hit each piece of steel once from each position, and you're using the cover so you're not exposing yourself to the targets.
Okay.
Once we hit all of our positions, we're gonna go ahead, put our guns on safe, and haul over to this thing, which is your buddy who's down.
Okay.
Your idea is to pick this guy up and get him back to the cover where we started from, because that's the safest place for him. As we're slinging our guns so that we can pick this 100-pound thing up, we're gonna see a target off to our right that needs to be engaged. You're gonna draw your handgun, hit that piece of steel twice, and so you're gonna holster, pick him up, throw him over your shoulder or drag him or whatever you need to do. All you're trying to do is get him the real cover back where you started.
Gotcha.
Once you get back there, you leave him behind cover. There's gonna be a plate rack. The time stops when all those targets are down. You're gonna be tired, but you're gonna learn a lot.
Hopefully, because I sure as hell wish you don't have me out of here for nothing. Not dressed like this.
I don't have my plates in.
Hit. 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 Hit.
Hit.
Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit.
Hit. Hit. Hit. Hit.
Good. Fight through it, baby. Fight through it. Hit. Hit, you're good. Put it on safe. Put it on safe. Hey. Get your buddy back here. There you go, nice. Yeah, baby, you're fighting through this. You wouldn't do that to your friend. Nice. Yeah, baby, way to fight through it. Way to fight through it. That was good shit. So that was pretty fun. And you fought through some trouble, which I liked.
There was a part of me that wanted to stop. A very, very, very large, very almost 100% part of me that wanted to stop.
That little tiny voice overcame everything else.
And then I did flip into, okay, well, what if this was the real situation?
And I saw that.
Exactly.
I mean, getting in those positions, especially at the bottom, very, very, very difficult. No one, virtually no one shoots from those positions. I mean, they're as awkward as you can get.
You know, it's interesting because I kind of got on this gripe about, well, what do I need to shoot left-handed for?
Right.
And it was a moment where I was trying to shoot through one of the lower barricade openings, and I found myself having to go to my left hand willingly.
Right.
And it does transition over to other aspects of our lives when things happen when we don't anticipate it. Once you understand what the reality is at the moment, to be able to deal with it and problem solve your way through it. I've never run a plate carrier.
Yep.
I've never ran
mag pouch
carriers, all of that stuff, right?
Right.
And you know, and tongue in cheek, I would make fun of it. But when you put in an uncomfortable situation and you're out of your element, it teaches you about yourself.
The more you step out of your comfort zone, and this is way out of your comfort zone, and shooting those positions is out of your comfort zone, every time you do it, you know that when things do go wrong, you can overcome. Persevering, man.
Hey.
But hey, let's do it.
Oh. Ladies first.
That was a lot of weight in my tailgate.
Yep, that's what you get for buying foreign.